Folks, brace yourselves, because the moment we hoped would never reach this depth has somehow arrived even sooner than predicted. And let me tell you straight up, it is uglier than every worst-case scenario we ever painted on this channel. Yes, the Iceman season has crashed through the front door without an invitation, and the funniest part of all of this is that Drake has managed to torch his own coronation before the actual project has even been officially served to the public. Just from the leaks alone, the boy has somehow birthed an entirely fresh subcategory of hip-hop that nobody asked for, a strange little mutated wing of the genre we are now going to officially crown as victim rap. So, if you are mentally prepared to walk into this swamp of leaks and bars that are making The Heart Part 6 sound like a Pulitzer-winning manuscript next to Illmatic, then before we step 1 inch deeper into this disaster, smash that thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and please give this video the boost it deserves, because we are diving into the deep end, and I genuinely need the support since the leaks are flooding in faster than I can document them, and Drake's entire Iceman rollout is being incinerated in real time before the album has even seen a release date confirmation. Now, sitting at the eye of this hurricane is the song that landed on my phone like a brick to the windshield, a freshly leaked, and I use those quotation marks with intent, track from Drake titled 1 AM in Albany, which marks the very first time he has bothered to extend his city series in over 2 long years, ever since Kendrick Lamar capped the series off with 616 in LA. I sat down, I pressed play, I gave it my full attention, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I could not form a coherent sentence for the next 2 hours of my life. I was sitting there like someone who just witnessed a car accident in slow motion, because here is the unfiltered truth of the matter. You had 2 full calendar years to cook. You had unlimited studio time, you had a team of writers, you had access to every producer on earth, and the strongest material you assembled was another wave of hype jokes aimed at Kendrick Lamar and a LeBron diss anchored on a meme that's been collecting dust since 2010. I am being completely sincere when I tell you this is worse than anything we projected. This is the lowest Drake song that has ever existed in the catalog. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the runway you have selected for the most pivotal album of your entire career. Before the Ice Cube dropping defenders climb into the comments section to tell me Drake never intended this song to surface, let me dismantle that argument right now, because it is a bald-faced fairy tale. Inside this very track, Drake directly references material that J. Cole dropped on his Birthday Blizzard EP, that little tape Cole quietly released on his birthday, January 28, 2026, right before the fall-off. So unless time travel was involved, this song was recorded recently, finished recently, mixed recently, and absolutely meant to surface, which makes the whole disaster 10 times more astonishing, because you mean to tell me Drake genuinely sat in a booth and tried to engineer a magnum opus where he simultaneously targets Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Joe Budden, Lucian Grainge, Dr. Dre, and LeBron James, gluing all of them together like one chaotic Mount Rushmore of his personal grievances, framing every single one of them as the horseman riding toward his demise? And the lyrical ammunition he chose to bring into this moment includes lines like, "Why people don't want to see me on top of the mountain like I do the dew," and "I swear I'm going loony over tune like I'm a green Martian," and then this glorious trifecta crowned by, "Please stop asking me what's going on with 23andMe. I'm real, but he's not. All you did was cap like uppercase. I'm 16 years in the game. This ain't Minuteman." Reading those bars out loud is exactly why my central nervous system shut down for the rest of the afternoon. If you were truly as locked in with LeBron as it appeared for as long as it appeared, and let us not forget, you literally inked the man permanently into your skin, which makes this entire saga even more uncomfortable, and then after getting humiliated by one of the men you tattooed on your body, you marched back into the booth, and your big comeback swing at the actual king was, I shouldn't even be shocked to see you in that arena, because you always made your career off switching teams up. Who is writing this? An anonymous NBA meme account from the year 2014? I want every single one of you watching to do this exercise with me right now. What year is it? It is 2026. And if you are seriously trying to tell me that the kingpin of all rap is unironically wielding LeBron's team changes as a devastating verbal missile that is supposed to make the man feel small, it's time to fold the operation up and walk home. This single moment tells us everything we need to know about the trajectory of this entire era. Honestly, Drake, if you want to be the resident Looney Tunes scholar and stitch those references through your verses because you think it scores cool points with whoever you're trying to impress, I'm just going to leave that there hanging in the air. I have to point out that the Don Cheeto villain in Space Jam 2 dropped sharper LeBron changing teams jokes than this entire diss. I am not joking. The CGI Goon Squad antagonist in a kids movie out-rapped Drake on LeBron disrespect. And here is the part that somehow slipped my mind, because the overstimulation of bad bars is melting my circuits. Close your eyes for a second and rewind to January 2025. Do you see it forming yet? We have literally watched this rerun before, just with a different paint job. Pull up the Conductor Williams produced Fighting Irish freestyle from January 2025, and you will find Drake addressing LeBron with, "The world fell in love with the gimmicks. Even my brothers got tickets. Seemed like they loved every minute." And when you trace the way Drake has been retorting to Kendrick to Joe Budden, all the way from the Heart Part 6 to Fighting Irish freestyle to Give Me a Hug, What Did I Miss, and the countless other forgettable leaks Drake tried to manufacture into landmark moments that never registered with anyone, leading us all the way to right now, the question becomes obvious. Does Drake actually realize he has filmed this exact episode before? Because the man is recycling diss frameworks, slapping a fresh coat of paint on them, and shoving them back into the marketplace expecting a different result. This is unprecedented levels of desperation. And when it comes to Drake innovating the culture, I suppose this fits the brand of this era, because he is officially pioneering a new movement of pure laziness. Now, to his DoorDash-devoted, deeply delusional fan base, this might play like the rightful king of rap kicking down the door to declare that everyone else's time has expired. But to anyone with a functional grasp on the genre, Drake is starting to sound less like a champion and more like Plankton plotting his next Krabby Patty heist, or Doofenshmirtz unveiling his weekly innator, or Team Rocket blasting off again for the 400th time, because the man has graduated into pure cartoon villain status. He runs the same scheme, gets foiled, resets the next week, and runs it again, refusing to upgrade his strategy. He is the Saturday morning antagonist of rap now, and the audience just watches the spiral with their cereal and moves on with their day. Just look at the cultural temperature around every Iceman leak so far. Nobody is impressed. The entire scene is treating this as a punchline, and with the first proper solo album in years about to plant its flag, the stakes are sky high. The spotlight has never been hotter, and the failure has never been louder. The prize for all of this is that Drake has solidified his transformation into a colossal loser who cannot release his grip on the past. When we examine the avalanche of Kendrick bars on this track, and there are many, they all fold into three predictable categories. He calls Kendrick fake, he calls Kendrick short, or he tries to twist, invert, and neutralize Not Like Us or Euphoria. And every single execution is somehow more limp than I just made it sound. Let me also note the cognitive gymnastics required to record a track like this while you are sitting inside an active legal battle over this exact subject matter. The audacity is breathtaking. Drake is genuinely the Michael Jordan of self-sabotage. I'm not even going to spend the energy reading the Kendrick bars line by line. I will throw them on the screen for you, but they are not worth dissecting because the foundational problem is that Drake is pretending Kendrick is not the artist who just completed the first ever full-scale solo world stadium tour, didn't deliver the most watched halftime performance in television history, and didn't drop the biggest hip-hop album of the decade. Pretending those things did not happen is like screaming at the sky for being blue. You're not arguing with Kendrick, you're arguing with documented reality, and that is the moment your disses transform from confidence into derangement. Kendrick never made this mistake during the war because Kendrick has functioning logic. He never claimed Drake didn't sell records, he never claimed Drake didn't have an audience, he never claimed Drake's numbers were fake. He attacked subjective territory, the manipulation, the lack of classic albums, the integrity, the cultural authenticity. He never insulted the obvious because doing so would have made him sound like a jealous teenager. That is the line Drake is currently sprinting across. And specifically inside these bars, the one almost interesting detour is when Drake pivots into biblical territory to drape himself in martyrdom once again. The section pulls heavily from Not Like Us imagery, but it also acknowledges GNX and the Squabble Up music video, particularly that Jesus Saves moment Kendrick held up, which became one of the most iconic stills of the entire campaign. And honestly, that confirms something fun. Drake watched the GNX rollout, frame by frame, which strengthens the original argument of Not Like Us. Because what does that make him? A fan. He's a fan. He's a fan of the man he's pretending to dismiss. And the moment Drake melts down on this track about the "what is the braids" line from Euphoria, that is even funnier because it confirms his writing room has cataloged every single Kendrick punch and is still licking the wounds. And speaking of derangement, that Muggsy Bogues bar where Drake tries to insinuate something about Kendrick getting a raise or a label promotion, you can see the cringe seeping out of the syllables. This bar reveals the jealousy. Clearly, after the beef, Kendrick demonstrated to the entire industry how to move the rap economy, and that obviously translated into leverage, into compensation, into power. As it should. If you delivered the run Kendrick delivered, that is basic capitalism. This is not conspiracy fuel. The Kendrick versus Drake war was never just a lyrical contest. It was a referendum on who would control the operational portfolio of the genre. And Kendrick walked away with the briefcase Drake assumed had his name engraved on it. That is why Drake is spitting venom about Kendrick's promotion, his bag, his elevation, whatever he is trying to imply. The jealousy is leaking through the audio. Yet none of it has translated into anything meaningful for Drake. The only output we keep witnessing is that he is more obsessed, more rattled, and more consumed by Kendrick than at any prior moment. And every counter he has assembled, even after 24 months of preparation, has somehow regressed below the Heart Part 6. The volume of empty-calorie bars on this track that prove Drake has been spending more hours posting selfies than actually writing is genuinely staggering. It blows my mind how somebody could absorb a defeat that public and that catastrophic and still believe the correct response is to deploy the exact identical strategy that handed Kendrick the largest diss victory in recorded hip-hop history. Drake, you ran that play. You got demolished running that play. And here you are, lacing up the cleats to run it again. Make it make sense. Another funny pattern, Drake seems so creatively bankrupt on this song and across this entire era that whenever he isn't reciting elementary school rhymes, when he occasionally produces a bar that approaches the lower threshold of decent, like the Dr. Dre reference, he immediately echoes himself and confirms the bar to the audience. He literally says some variation of, "Spell it out, do you get it, do you get the bar?" which is simultaneously embarrassing and corrosive to the immersion of the music. It vaporizes the magic and the craft of letting a line breathe, and the line wasn't even that complex to begin with. You must hold your audience in extraordinarily low regard. Drake, you are not Lupe Fiasco, you are not Black Thought, you are not Nas, you are not MF Doom. The bar wasn't a riddle. But considering this is the same man who weaponized all caps uppercase and LeBron switches teams in the year 2026, I suppose explaining the few half-decent bars to the room is a logical move. Now, Drake also took a swing at Joe Budden on this track, leaning heavily into that sleepwalking incident, which Joe himself basically forecasted was incoming, so I don't have much energy to dedicate to that exchange. The richer material lives around J. Cole, because after months of speculation and Cole pretending publicly that everything between him and Drake was perfectly sunny, Drake has now confirmed at minimum that he absorbed something from Cole's recent release and didn't appreciate it. The clearest evidence is found in the bar referencing the Golden Goose shaking things up at Lucian's house, which is a direct nod to Cole's Birthday Blizzard EP track, Golden Goose Freestyle, where Cole rapped, "Somebody who's dumb sold their soul to Lucian." Whether Cole was specifically aiming at Drake remains unconfirmed, although it certainly looked that way, and Cole did his usual tap dance to maintain ambiguity. Then Drake follows with, "I could have fell back like the married rapper, but we engaged. I told y'all I'm settled in my evil ways." Honestly, that is one of the more thoughtfully constructed lines on the entire record. He brands Cole, the married rapper, throws shade at Kendrick and Whitney for being engaged, even though publicly we don't actually know their full status, and then plants himself as the lone wolf locked into his ways. It's a creative slice of the big three based on relationship status. The Evil Ways line nods to Cole and Drake's old Scary Hours 3 collaboration, Evil Ways from 2023, the song where Cole walked back his beef stance. So, at minimum, Drake is finally publicly confirming in 2026 that he does not respect Cole,
that he sees him as soft, and that the friendship is functionally dead. And again, here is where my central frustration crystallizes, because this critique even feels like a retread of what Drake already deployed against Cole in Push-Ups and Family Matters back in 2024, where Drake painted Cole as the pathetic backer who folded. He is using Cole as a contrast anchor to inflate his own toughness, and while doing all of this, he is dragging Lucian Grainge directly into the firing line of his own album rollout, picking a fight with the chairman of the label that is funding his existence. The preparation level brought to a moment this enormous is genuinely abysmal. With every leak detonating across timelines, with every supposedly introspective Drake performance getting blown into the open air, it is becoming impossible to deny that this man is in the worst creative shape of his entire career.
There is another leaked Iceman track called Hasta La Vista, and if you thought the victim role was suffocating on the first song, this one drowns you in it. Because on this record, which is clearly an authentic Iceman cut, and we know because UMG has been yanking them down from every platform within minutes, and the lyrics aren't even fully posted on Genius, Drake spits, "Showed me what rejection's like, huh? Saw Meek's face in a reflection. It flashed in the mirror for a quick second. Guess I know what his stress was like, huh?" That, my friends, is a colossal bar in the worst possible way. We are now watching Drake revisit the Meek Mill war from the perspective of the loser. He admits he looked in the mirror and saw Meek staring back. If that is not a written confession that he understands he lost, I do not know what would qualify. And yet, on the very same track, he turns around and raps, "You guys say I took an L, but I made more M's." And I see the angle, but the contradiction is glaring. Across every Kendrick bar, every LeBron line, every J. Cole shot, the truth is the same. You are not over this. You are still craving revenge. You are still livid at every single party involved. You don't respect any of them because they dared oppose you. You are trying to retroactively rewrite the final score, edit the scoreboard, and revise the entire timeline. There are countless other Iceman leaks ricocheting around, ranging from the lyrical attempts to the more atmospheric vibe records, and the unifying thread is that most of them sound musically lethargic. Drake delivering technically weak lyricism over flat, undressed, undecorated beats. The only fragments anyone is discussing are the name drops and the targets. None of it is objectively memorable. None of it will shift the culture in any direction except downward. And the only career it is genuinely capable of dismantling is his own. And the way these songs are leaking, with Drake clearly involved in some of the leaks but not all of them, that itself is telling. Because nobody is talking about anything Drake has done creatively on this project. The only conversation worth having revolves around the disses, the targets, the beefs. That is not a coincidence. That is the structural reality of where Iceman has landed. This album has a real chance to become the most spectacular failure of an entire generation, because if Drake continues rapping in this register while the music itself keeps deteriorating, which has been a slow bleed for years now but appears to have hit terminal velocity, this rollout is going to scorch everything he has left. Casual fans will sprint for the exits. The remaining diehards will be left clutching diss tracks that nobody else respects. Inside the culture, nobody in his peer group respects him anymore. And now picking a fight with his own label is exposing the corporate friction in the public arena rather than letting it stay sealed in the lawsuit paperwork. From the audience to the community to the executives signing the checks, Drake is at war with all three flanks simultaneously, and his only weapon is some of the most aggressively mediocre music of his career. So with all of that on the table, good luck, and I mean that in the most ironic way possible. You manufactured this reality, and now you have to live inside its walls. I called this. I said Iceman would be the spite man. I said this would be the most disloaded album in recent memory, and it is barreling straight toward that label. Even with this song getting yanked offline under the leak excuse, that is paper-thin cover. UMG owns the recording. It is most likely being slotted onto Iceman this very moment, or perhaps shelved due to backlash, which is an entirely separate conversation. So genuinely, good luck to anybody who plans to sit through this album. Good luck to me, because I have to listen and decode the lyrics of a man who appears to be functionally illiterate. If the rest of the album resembles these leaks, this is going to be a catastrophe larger than anyone forecasted. Now tell me down below, what are your final predictions before Iceman officially lands? What do you make of these disses? Did even one land for you? Do you believe Drake is moving the needle? How will Kendrick respond, if at all? Did Drake say anything strong enough to drag him outside again? Did anything aimed at LeBron register? Will J. Cole finally stand up for himself? And on the label battlefield, where does that go? I have a feeling the answers are arriving very soon, because Drake will be back with a louder statement, and the next time we speak, there will be a full album to autopsy together. If you reach this point in the video, send me good fortune by smashing the like, hitting subscribe, hyping this video up, and dropping a comment. I cannot wait to read your takes. And in the meantime, if you want to peek at the next looming disaster from the Iceman, including the rumored Jay-Z target that is allegedly being loaded into the chamber, the suggested video is waiting for you. Do not miss it.